The internet had no idea what was coming. When the cameras started rolling that afternoon, no one expected Tian Xuning and Ziyu to break the silence that had followed them for months. For a long time, fans around the world had been whispering, speculating, dissecting every tiny glance, every subtle touch, every unfinished sentence between the two stars. But the truth is, nothing had ever prepared them for this moment. Not the interviews, not the fan edits, not the rumors, and definitely not the behind-the-scenes clips that were spread like wildfire. Because this time, for the first time ever, Tian Xuning and Ziyu were about to talk openly about their feelings. From the very first second, the tension was different. There was a weight in the air, a kind of pressure that felt too real, too raw, too close to the truth. The studio lights hit their faces softly, but even the glow couldn't hide the nervousness in their eyes. Tian Xuning's fingers were tapping lightly against his knee, a habit fans recognized as something he did only when he was overwhelmed. Ziyu, usually composed and playful in front of the camera, sat unusually still, his breathing shallow, his expression somewhere between fear and anticipation. Anyone watching could immediately sense it. Something big was about to happen. The director didn't even finish counting down before the entire room went silent. Tian Xuning took the first breath, a slow inhale that made fans lean closer to their screens. "There's something we need to say," he began. It wasn't just the words. It was the way he said them. His voice was softer than usual, deeper somehow, loaded with meaning. Ziyu's eyes lifted, meeting his, and for a moment the world outside seemed to freeze. The clip of that look alone would later go viral in seconds, spawning millions of views on TikTok and YouTube. But at that moment, none of them knew how explosive this conversation would become. What made everything even more intense was the energy between them. It wasn't the typical scripted chemistry fans see in dramas. This was different. It felt real, lived, emotionally charged, like something that had been held inside for too long. Americans watching the livestream immediately commented how cinematic the moment felt, like something straight out of a slow-burn romance film where the truth finally breaks through the cracks. And yet, this wasn't fiction. This was Tian Xuning and Ziyu being completely, breathtakingly honest. Ziyu finally spoke up. His voice trembled at the beginning, but steadied as he continued. "People think they know us," he said. "They think they've figured out everything from clips and edits. But nobody knows what it was really like, what we really felt." The admission alone sent fans into chaos. Comment sections exploded. Reddit threads formed in real time. American fans, known for their dramatic reactions, started typing in all caps, convinced that a confession was coming. Meanwhile, Asian fans were refreshing the stream repeatedly, some of them crying already from the overwhelming tension. Tian Xuning didn't look away from Ziyu for even a second. His eyes softened, and for a moment he looked like he was fighting off every emotion that had been locked away for years. "We've kept quiet," he said, "because we weren't sure if we were allowed to feel what we felt." The line hit like a thunderbolt. The internet couldn't contain itself. Countless viewers gasped at the exact same time. Because this wasn't vague. This wasn't friendly. This wasn't the type of statement celebrities make when they want to avoid rumors. This was direct. This was vulnerable. This was real. The comment section became a battlefield of emotions. Americans were posting reactions like, "No way, this is not acting," and "I feel like I'm watching a real confession." Fans across Europe wrote about shaking hands and racing hearts, while Indonesian and Filipino fans began spamming emojis of crying faces and explosions. Even Korean fans, known for their more reserved reactions, couldn't hide the panic and excitement racing through their timelines. The world was synced for one emotional moment, and Tian Xuning and Ziyu were at the center of it all. As the conversation deepened, something even more shocking happened. Ziyu reached out, just slightly, just enough for their knees to touch. It was barely noticeable, but fans caught it instantly. Clips of that tiny moment would later become the most replayed second in the entire interview. It was subtle, but powerful enough to break the fragile emotional wall between them. Tian Xuning visibly froze for a split second, then relaxed, his shoulders dropping as if he had been holding 1,000 unspoken words. "We didn't plan to say this," Ziyu continued, turning his body slightly toward Tian Xuning, but pretending nothing happened. pretending we didn't feel anything. It's exhausting." His voice cracked at the end, and that tiny crack was more emotional than a full-blown confession. It was enough to make thousands of fans burst into tears. Some people online even said they felt like they were intruding on a private moment, like they were watching something sacred unravel live. Tian Xuning leaned forward, elbows on his knees, eyes flickering between the floor and Ziyu's face. Then he said the most shocking line of the entire interview, the one that would dominate headlines internationally. "I didn't know how to deal with it. Because every time I looked at you, I felt something I wasn't ready to admit." The world exploded. Streams lagged. Millions of viewers screamed at once. American reaction channels immediately clipped the moment and uploaded it with titles like, "He really said that?" and "This is better than any drama." Ziyu's reaction was even more intense. His breath hitched, visibly shaking, as if Tian Xuning's words had struck him at his core. "Do you know how long I waited to hear you say that?" he whispered. And in that moment, no one, not the director, not the cameraman, not the fans, knew what would happen next. The tension was so thick it felt like electricity. Their eyes locked again, and this time it wasn't subtle. This was raw, overwhelming, emotional truth spilling out uncontrollably. The confession wasn't a traditional, "I like you." It wasn't neat or rehearsed. It was messy, uncertain, full of breathless pauses and trembling words. But that's exactly why it shook the entire entertainment world. Because it felt human. It felt real. It felt like two people finally letting go of everything they'd been holding back. Fans who had followed their journey for years felt validated, emotional, and deeply moved. Even those who weren't rooting for them couldn't deny the authenticity of the moment.